"If I were abroad," said Mr. P. Rawlings at the conclusion, "this could be done as easily as the striking of a match." "Ah," said James bitterly, "that's just where it is. You're in happy England now, and one of the free, where for the leastest thing a man finds hisself locked up. Still, we'll do what we can, won't we, Albert?" He closed his left eye for a moment as he looked at his colleague. "We will that," responded Albert. "The best of men can do no more." "You understand," said Mr. P. Rawlings decidedly, "that I give you nothing now. Come back here this evening and take me to the place where he is, and the money is yours." "I could have done with a bit on account," said James. "Not a penny," said Mr. Rawlings definitely. The two Bethnal Green gentlemen sighed a protest against the dogmatism of capital. "Well, if you won't, master," said Albert philosophically, "I suppose you won't." The house that evening was unusually full. There was some excitement in the air, and earlier in the afternoon the inspector had shaken up nearly a helmetful of tickets for the Strangers' Gallery. The space dividing ministers was littered with the strips of paper which members tear up when they are in an emotional mood, and no one was perfectly asleep. The youthful-looking member who was addressing the House came to his peroration. He glanced at the small red bonnet in the ladies' gallery. "For my part, Mr. Speaker, I can only say that so long as life remains with me, and that period may be short and it may be long, I shall not cease to present with all the vigour in my power the arguments to which the House has so generously listened this evening." Enthusiastic cheering as Mr. Gerald Burley resumed his seat. Congratulators nodded from the front bench of his own side. A pleasant little note of felicitation tossed across from the opposite side. Young Mr. Burley, MP, hurried round to meet the small red bonnet. "You are going for your usual walk round St. James's Park, I know," said the red bonnet pleasantly. "No, I am not, dear. I'm going to stroll with you on the terrace." "Well," the red bonnet gave a sigh as affectation of regret, "it is useless to argue with a member of Parliament. I only hope that my brother, Mr. P. Rawlings, blinking his small black eyes, said he was pretty middling. How was Mr. Burley? Burley, without answering, said that Mr. Rawlings' cousin and he were just about to stroll on the terrace, so that they would have to say good-bye to Mr. Rawlings. "Burley," Mr. Rawlings took the young member aside, "I want to speak to her as a member of the family about money matters. I want to do something rather handsome for her when this affair of yours comes off." "You're very good," said Mr. Burley. He said this unwillingly, for he usually told the truth. "But really, I don't know." "No, you don't. I'm not so bad as you think, Burley. I've got a heart after all, although my manner is a little odd at times. Now, you go for your usual run, and I'll talk to her." Mr. P. Rawlings insisted on walking out of St. Stephen's and across the yard with Gerald Burley. He seemed to talk rather quickly, and with a dread of anything like a pause in the conversation. Outside the gates he stopped. "I must hurry back to my cousin," he said. He looked across the road and took his scarlet silk handkerchief from his pocket. The two Bethnal Green gentlemen standing on the opposite side of the road saw this, and then, shading their eyes, looked up at the clock. "You won't be more than half an hour?" "Less," said Gerald Burley, and striding across the road, St. James's Parkway, he disappeared from sight. "Now for this desperate deed," said James, with much good humour. "Is Ginger in Birdcage Walk with his cab?" Albert nodded.